Hello everyone, this is Alejandro Cremades, and today we're going to be talking about what investors look for in founding teams. So before we get started, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, and this way you will never miss out on any of the videos that we roll out every week. So the founding team is the most important element. When you are asking for investors, what do you look for in a company before investing? They always say team, 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 and then the rest comes after. So in today's video, we're going to be breaking it down for you so that you can really get to understand what is exactly the things that investors look for in the teams that they end up investing in. So without further ado, let's get into it. So one of the first things that investors are going to look for is commitment. They want to know if you are going to be able to sacrifice the things that you need to do in order to be part of this journey and execute. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs in the journey of building and scaling your company. And more specifically, during the early days, it's going to be 95% of the days are going to be catastrophic. But at least that 5% of the good days and the passion that you have in this, it's going to help you in pushing you through the tough days. You can't fake passion and also the commitment. So for that reason, the investors want to know if you're going to be for the long run into this business, because it's all about persistence. It's not a sprint, it's really ultimately a marathon, and this is what they're looking for. Next thing is grit and resilience. What are some of the examples on how you have behaved during moments where adversity was present? Perhaps there are some clear examples that you can actually share with the investor so that they get to see that nothing is going to push you out of this journey, that literally failure is not an option, that you're going to do whatever it takes to get this thing to the finish line. And again, you need to make sure that you're able to convey that to the investor. Next is capability. What makes you and your team capable? I mean, those investors, they're looking at your space. They've made a decision of investing in your segment. They're probably even meeting with your own competitors. So what makes you different than others? Why do you deserve this money? Do you have the domain expertise, the experience, the network? What is that makes you different, that makes you unique, and that really makes that investment more desired being placed in you and in your company versus maybe like putting it in other competitors? The investors also want to make sure that you're coachable, that you're able to listen. Remember that the investor is investing in you because they believe in you, but they're also investing because they want to help you in building the business. Are you willing to listen? Are you coachable? Those are the things that the investor is going to want, because especially if they're investing a substantial amount of money, they're going to want to take some type of control and even be part of your board of directors in designing that strategy that ultimately you and your team, your management team or executive team are going to go out and execute and really take to the finish line. So in terms of coachable, you need to be in a position where you can take feedback, where you implement it, where you report back, and you really build that trust in that integrity in the relationship, where the investor is able to see that you're delivering on your promise, that you've listened to them, and that you're actually taking that advice and carefully implementing it to really see what's going to be the outcome. But investors love that, so make sure that you're enrolling them and you're making them be participating in the business via perhaps the feedback that they are providing you. Can you get along? I mean, this is another big one. Do you see yourself with that investor? Maybe if you were to miss a flight, would you be okay having a beer with them, having lunch, having dinner, being able to enjoy each other's company? This is critical. I mean, there's people like Peter Thiel that have said that they would never invest in people that they can't really get along with. So again, you want to have that connection. You want to build that meaningful relationship with the investor so that they really feel confident that it's going to be worth their time, that they're going to enjoy, that they even learn from you. So those are really critical aspects. But again, it's all about having that meaningful relationship. Are you trustworthy? Again, trust is built on integrity, and integrity is being able to deliver on your word. So if you're actually setting yourself or making the promise that you're going to be accomplishing certain numbers or delivering certain type of milestones, you need to be in communication. If you're delivering those milestones, great. If you think that by whatever circumstances you're not going to be able to deliver on certain promises that you made, you need to be in communication as fast as possible. The last thing that you want is that the delivery date comes along and you're like, hey, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to be able to do it, because it's going to leave people with a sour taste. So you want to have that trust be present, and this is going to only be accomplished by having that nice streamlined communication channel between you and the investors that at the end of the day really builds the trust. In the event your team is not strong enough, that's totally fine. The investor, especially the earlier that you are in the journey of your business, they're going to be okay with the fact that you're going to have to hire later on. At least what you need to showcase here is that you have a clear roadmap, that you have a plan, maybe even candidates that you can show with them, and perhaps even enroll the investor in that journey of hiring the talent, because in many cases, those investors, they have access to a great pool of talent. So maybe they know someone that they can bring in. So just be clear and just be honest. You know, if you are missing certain candidates in certain roles of the business, just share what those candidates are and what you're planning to do about it so that you can fill in those roles, and perhaps even the timeline of filling those roles. So how to convey how great your team is essential. It's not just about the investor trying to figure out. You're going to want here to make sure that you're packaging the pitch deck well. And by the way, below there is a nice template that you can use for free that founders are using all over the world to raise millions. On that pitch deck, essentially, you can put in bullet points what are some of the accomplishments. You can also perhaps update the LinkedIn profiles. That's actually a critical component, and make sure that every profile of your team members is attached or connected to the company's profile, because that's one of the things that investors are doing for due diligence nowadays. And again, make sure that on those bios, it is very clearly stated why those team members are adding that key value to the execution and to the roadmap that you have in front of you. So again, if you like this video, please shoot a like, and then also leave a comment underneath. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out on all the videos that we're rolling out every week. And again, if you are raising money, shoot me an email at alejandro@pantheraadvisors.com. I would love to help out. Thank you so much for watching.